It was fine. Whatever. Blood Dragon.
I will say, Chris, it was pretty funny though. When you're talking about all the swearing and stuff, I'm like, it's kind of funny. Ubisoft is like the not safe for family conference.
Yeah, we're
so he had his kids watching it. There I am making sure I don't even watch the Microsoft press conference with my little 4-year-old around, and Chris is just there watching it with his kids, going, "Watch that!"
So yeah, as soon as she dropped the F-bomb, I muted the whole conference and I just listened to it on YouTube. So,
right,
Lord.
Let's do this, boys. Let's
kick
do
off
this.
the show, guys. I'm just gonna leave this at the beginning of our talk because it's hilarious.
Okay.
But guys, we are back to have more conversations about E3 2016. We are your wonderful Xbox enthusiast team. My name is Jamie. I'm joined by Chris and Steve, and today we're here to talk about the Ubisoft train wreck. I mean, conference.
Oh man!
Now, one thing I must say, guys, when it opened up,
because trains are pretty fast. This is more of a drag. So more kind of a tank.
It's one of those little carts that you have to manually do.
Sure.
But Aisha Tyler was the only one pushing it.
Well, honestly, guys, when they opened with Just Dance, I knew we were in for a long show.
So my wife came down when I was watching at that point, and she's like, "What are you watching?" And it's like, I honestly have no clue. Because we were recording, I missed like the first minute or so of the actual conference. It's like, what is going on? And they announce it's Just Dance. You're thinking, yeah, I just don't care anymore.
Yeah. Well, and then to make it even worse, they did their whole moment of silence for the shootings in Orlando.
Because that fitted really well after seeing dances on stage.
Yeah,
and nothing says paying respect like having a girage stood on stage next to you.
I was gonna say a giraffe and a lion on one side. It was just
And if you watch the video back again, you could see there's like this little Velcro cod piece on the giraffe where he.
Why are you looking there?
I was wondering the exact same thing.
You just see it. I don't know. It's just there.
It's good to know when you see a giraffe, that's the first place your eyes...
Look, I just want to see if it's a boy or a girl. That's all.
Earlier, we were talking about things going off the rails. I think we've already hit that.
Okay, let's. Okay, don't worry. We're not interested in. Let's move on.
We've already been more interesting than the press conference, so it's okay.
Now, one thing I will say, though, with Just Dance, the only notable thing about that was the only mention of the words NX during the show.
That's right. So they have actually made they're going to make more NX confirmations than Nintendo will. So that was fantastic.
Oh, guys. Okay. After that, they hopped into a little game called Ghost Recon Wildlands.
Yes.
Now, Steve, earlier you said you are pretty excited. Well, at least you used to be excited for this game.
So I have a bit of history with Ghost Recon in that I played Ghost Recon and Ghost Recon 2 on the Xbox and absolutely sucked at them. I did. They're like properly hardcore games. I came from a place of like just playing Halo and Time Splitters and stuff like that. Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter I got really into on Xbox 360 and I got really good. Graw 2 the same. What was the last one? Like Future Soldier or something like that?
Yep,
so
I
all three of those, played all of those, loved them, completed them on hard, played the multiplayer. So Wildlands I was really excited about, and then they showed it in the conference.
Yeah.
And it looks solid. It just, there's nothing there that kind of grabs me and goes, play this game. It looks like a cross between other Ubisoft games, a bit like Watch Dogs, with a bit of kind of Metal Gear Solid 5 thrown in there as well, with the kind of marking enemies and kind of sneaking around and gradually taking them out. And I like the idea of the co-op, but there's nothing in the game that grabs me and goes, buy me, you know?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I kind of echo that. I am excited about Wildlands, and I mean, I don't think that the trailer has convinced me not to get it. There are a couple concerns that I have though. It looks like they're really talking up co-op, and I'm just not a big fan of multiplayer gaming in general, and I don't have a lot of friends because Steve won't play online with me at all. So just kidding.
There must be a reason for that.
There probably is a very good reason.
It's because he sucks. Really.
That's true. That's fair.
I remember playing Titanfall with Andrew, Luke, and Ilya, and like I absolutely caned them. Like they weren't even in the picture. We had to like score 50 kills, and I got 30 of them. And it's come on, boys.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm not necessarily great, but no. Kidding aside, I don't party up a lot, and it may be something I might do on rare occasion. But I like a game that I can come in from work, sit down, and play for an hour or so, and not have to worry about coordinating with friends or getting online. And so if they're really driving the co-op aspect of it, and that looks like it's kind of a driving force for the game, I don't know if that's going to be kind of a a turnoff for me in that regard. My other concern is open world games. I'm very ADD, and I like to be able to complete a mission or kind of get an objective. I tend to get in a car and drive in circles because I can. So
in real life.
Yeah, in real life too. That's why I'm always late. It's very bad. Ghost Recon's always been about kind of really tactics driven, but like mission structure, mission focused. And so the turn to open world, could be a bit of a concern. I mean, all that being said, though, it looked pretty cool.
Do you think it's going to have that system that Crackdown has, where you can choose which order to take people out and which order you do it affects the rest of the gang? Do you know what I mean? Like in Crackdown, if you take out the weapon supply, the guys don't have such good weapons. Do you think it's going to be like that?
No. I think it will actually play more like Far Cry, or because it's the Ubisoft game, so more like Far Cry or even Assassin's Creed, where I think that you will be able to go through order of maybe the because you're taking down the drug cartel. So I assume that there's 12 of them around the map, and you can go take out whichever one you want, and whenever you take that one down, you kind of reclaim that city or that area, if you will. So maybe you can get different upgrades from that, or different things that you can gain from that advantage, and then you're basically just picking them off in whatever order kind of that you want. I see it being more along the lines of something like that, as opposed to actually affecting, like if you take out one drug leader, then the guns are going to be more scarce, or if you take down one, surveillance is going to be more scarce. I don't see it being that deep. Maybe, that'd be cool. I don't see them being that deep with it.
Sure. Well, speaking about games that, have deep meaning, the next game they showed was South Park, Fractured But Whole.
The Fractured Butthole.
Yes. Now, they did say it is coming December 6th, and anyone that pre-orders it gets Stick of Truth for free, which, it's kind of nice if, you haven't played it yet. But just like Wildlands, I think part of the problem with this show, like, Steve, you were excited for Wildlands, and they showed this demo. Way too long. It kind of, took some of the steam out for you.
Yeah.
South Park was the same way. This demo, they had a really long demo, then they had a trailer, then they had some more gameplay demo, and I was just like, okay, I've seen enough. Stop showing me. And they kept talking, and they kept going, and I'm like, I don't know if it's because they didn't have enough to show or what happened, but they needed to make this show tighter. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Although the game looks hilarious.
I feel like everything drug on, though. I think that may be ultimately the problem with the show, is like everything was like, oh man, we got this great demo, and because it's so great, we're going to show you another 10 minutes of it, and it just kind of felt like it dragged on. Real quick before we jump fully into South Park, we didn't mention, but Ghost Recon did get a release date. It's going to be March of next year, so March 2017, which is going to fill that same space that The Division filled this year. So we'll have that game. A lot of people were expecting that this fall, but that's been pushed out to March next year. South Park is not. South Park is a little too vulgar typically for my liking.
Sure.
So
wait. I thought you liked to play that game with your kids.
I do. I like to just sit on the couch and watch them play.
It's animated. They'll love it.
Yeah, they definitely will. But this is the game being called The Fractured Butthole just really makes me happy. But yeah, I mean, it's not my cup of tea. So, Steve, what do you think?
I think one of the impressive things about the Ubisoft conference was that they managed to make Trey and Matt just not that interesting. Like these are two of the funniest guys on the planet, and they managed to give a boring interview. It's like, what's going on? How do you manage to do that?
Yeah. And it won't be the last boring interview they give.
Right. Well, on from there, after South Park, they went into the Division DLC. And this is what we've already learned about. They talked about the underground expansion, which they've already shown off.
Yeah, they did show more as well, though, didn't they? True.
And they added something called the Survival DLC expansion. Yeah. And then they showed off they're going to be, I think it comes with the DLC. I wasn't sure if it was separate or not. They're adding costumes based on Splinter Cell, Rainbow Six Siege, and Ghost Recon Wildlands. So you'll be able to have those costumes in the Division.
Great.
Okay, I'm not interested by the costumes, but the new content is not only needed for the game, but very, very welcome. I love the Division. I keep going back and playing it. I've got so many hours logged into that game, barely any in the Dark Zone because I tend to play on my own. But I just genuinely love the mechanics of that game and how it's set up. So more content is always going to be a good thing.
Yep, I agree. Yeah, I agree with that sentiment. I really like the Division. Again, hate really playing with people, so I just like to roam around and pick up.
But missions. You just hate people.
I do. That's a problem that I have.
When you play video games, you just like kind of go into a small room, turn all the lights out, and just sit there in the dark by yourself.
If I could,
just cry while you're playing. Because
that's a small padded cell, maybe.
Yes. Yeah, sure. Yeah, and by video games, I just mean the wall. But yeah. So but yeah, it looked great. We talked about this, I think, because they announced it on stage with Microsoft that the DLC was coming out. It's going to come first to Xbox One, but just the idea of random map generation for the underground it's a really cool idea, and especially for somebody who likes to play by themselves, being able to jump into the underground and always have a new, fresh experience just adds a lot of longevity to a game that, like Steve says, has great combat, great mechanics. So just adding more content to it is a no-brainer. So good call.
It wasn't like Destiny, Leo. It wasn't massively lacking content when it launched. It's just that the game has been out for long enough now that everyone has played through all of the content. Yep. So it just needs more.
Yep, sure. Agreed.
Well, actually, speaking of games with great combat, after that we jumped into a wonderful VR game called Eagle Flight. I'm sorry, but I don't think I can play that game because every time you attack, you go, caw, caw, and that's all I heard the entire demo. I'm like, are you kidding me? Stop. I mean, all it was, you flew around, and you saw people when they're playing, and they're going, I'm like, I don't know. The thing just rubbed me the wrong way.
This is the first time at the conference that I fell asleep. Did they announce
one of many?
Yeah. Did they announce a platform for this?
No, they did not. Okay. They just, they previewed it on the Oculus, I believe, but other than that, we know nothing about it.
Okay. Yeah, again, VR is not really a consumer product right now. It's just very, very expensive. If it was a consumer product, I don't know that I want to be buying a very polygonal bird chasing game, but but for people that have invested in VR, they need something to play. So it
does kind of look like it ought to be shipped on iPhone or something instead. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and honestly though, guys, if you really, really want to sell VR, you have to bring Mr. Reading Rainbow himself out on stage.
Oh, LeVar Burton. Oh, man.
And, after that, they talked about Star Trek Bridge Crew. And, it looked better than the Eagle Flight game, I'll tell you that. Each person had their own VR headset, and they controlled a different part of the ship.
I could draw animation with a pencil and a piece of paper better than the Flight game looks. And I can barely draw.
It definitely looked rough, although, LeVar Burton must have that Reading Rainbow money, that big PBS dollars, because he's like, oh, I'm going to invite all these people back to my house. We're all going to play it. I'm thinking, okay, wait a minute. You're going to have 4 Oculuses, 4, Oculus Touch devices, 4 massively, high-tech PCs to play, because you have to play it as a team. You can't be the only guy on the bridge. You're going to get destroyed.
Yeah,
what do you guys think about a VR
I'm
team?
pretty sure that they would have helped him with the technology, and I would very much doubt that those chairs are actually the chairs he has in his house.
Well, no, he said
unless he is that addicted to Star Trek, it's like I'm down with
that'd be amazing.
Yeah, for everyone
but
that
I'm
goes
just saying,
into my
There's just those chairs in his living room and then rainbows all over. Like the only 2 things he's known for. It's just like Star Trek chairs and rainbows.
He's got children's books everywhere because he got to keep all those after the show. But no, actually, I'm talking about a line he dropped during the conference before when he walked out on stage and before he left. He was talking about each title and said, yeah, I'm going to invite you back to my house and all my friends are all going to play this together. And I'm thinking, I don't think he realizes the investment it takes to be able to do that.
Or that it's only 4 players, unless he only has 3 other friends. I'm going to invite you and all my friends, and all 4 of us are going to play. No, so here's what I like about it. First off, the game looks awful, which I think we've already kind of put that to bed. But it made me think of something like Affordable Space Adventures on Wii U.
Sure.
Or even a game like what's the game? It's a PC game. Crap. FTL, where you have to like monitor different systems and stuff. I like that it's kind of a laid back experience where you're actually just doing like one function. So give me a game like Affordable Space Adventures or even a game like FTL where I can sync up with friends online and my only job is to pilot, or my only job is to make sure that we don't run out of oxygen, or whatever the case is in the game. Like I like that format. Now I hope
if we're all on a spaceship together, Chris, I think your only job, you go sit in the corner, we'll handle.
Don't touch anything. There's a button. Only push this when we tell you.
Button we tell you to.
I don't know what your idea of a chilled game is, though. When you're in a spaceship that's being attacked, you've got to like try and escape. If that's your idea of chill, I mean, I hate to think of a stressful situation for you.
Yeah, maybe chill's not the right word. I just mean, kind of a streamlined focus experience where you're not running and shooting and jumping and like.
So basically, you want to think as little as possible.
Yes, I just want to sit at a desk and be like, I just want my captain to be like.
The monkey presses the button.
Fire lasers, and I'm like, do you want the blue ones or the red ones?
Because it's the color that matters. You don't want to clash in these things.
Hey, one is stunned and
no
one is
fashion
killed.
faux
Come on,
pas.
don't you know?
That's true. One is lethal, one is not. No, but just the idea of having like a cooperative experience like that's more real life, or even taking it to like what if Battlefield had like a VR? Battlefield 1 had a VR where you're in the frickin' Zeppelin. And one of you are steering, and one of you are manning a gun, but like you're coordinating together. It could be kind of that kind of experience could be kind of cool in VR. So,
sure.
Anyway,
well, next, guys, one thing you think of when you think of Ubisoft is Honor.
Just Dance. Oh.
Because next they talked about For Honor, which actually I kind of completely forgot about from last year.
Yeah.
They showed a brand new trailer, and pretty much you play as a samurai, a knight, and a Viking. And I was kind of confused on the story. Somehow all their worlds merge, I guess.
Why did it need a story?
I know, because
the demo last year seemed so much fun, just having these 3 opposing parties bashing it out, and they find themselves needing to put a story in. It's like, you don't need to put a story in because it's going to be rubbish anyway. It's like, just give me Vikings fighting samurais fighting knights, and I'm happy.
Yeah.
Now, if you do want to get the rubbish in your hands, it is coming out February 14th, so it's coming out pretty soon. If you love rubbish.
Valentine's Day. I mean, this game looks okay. I don't think that they specified. I assume that you're going to have 3 independent stories that you can play. I mean, I assume that you're not going to switch between the characters since they're trying to murder each other. So I assume there's probably like a samurai playthrough and a Viking playthrough and a Knight playthrough.
But they said you were supposed to be going up against this. Is it Apollyon or something like that?
That's right.
Some kind of enemy, and it's like, please, whatever you do, don't have them have all three forces join up at the end and take on the enemy. That's just going to be so tacky and cheesy.
That's exactly what they're going to do. Now that you say that, that kind of stinks. Yeah.
But all they need now is a soldier from the future, and they will be set. Wouldn't that be hilarious if the end, like a portal opens, like the Terminator walks through, and then they're good?
No.
But it is another one of those games where they've shown it at the press conference, and I want it less, having seen more of it at the press conference than I did before.
Agree with that.
I don't know why that was their theme this year. It's like, these games you're really excited for. I mean, I don't know.
Let's lower your expectations.
Right. It's like they started off with a party. They're like, Just Dance, let's party. And then someone decided to poop in the punch bowl. So
it's almost like, hey, if any of these games actually turn out good, we're hoping for that.
Sure.
It was not good, but I mean, For Honor will be fine. I'm sure that'll find its audience. Games that murder people with blades always tend to find enough people to play them. So
now, going from blade murdering and South Park, the next game they talked about and really didn't show that much of was Grown Up, which is going to be a sequel to Grown Home.
No, Grow. It's just Grow. No in.
Oh, okay. Well, like I said, it's a sequel to Grown Home, so I never played that either. So
Me neither.
I just wanted to mention it.
Yeah, I mean, it was nice for them to show a little bit of variety. Grow Home was a little puzzle platformer. It's a little indie game, and this just looks like kind of more of the same. They're adding some verticality to it, and obviously some new settings and stuff. But it looks like pretty much. A rinse and repeat. Just nothing super spectacular stood out in the trailer, but it looks nice. It kind of fits that indie mold. They didn't have anything else there at the show that really kind of fit this this more all ages indie puzzle platformer. So.
It's as if they're trying to copy EA and go, look, we've got a caring, sharing side because we've got an indie game here.
Yeah.
But the difference was Unravel was a cracking game. It was a really, really good game. And Fee, I'm not sold on yet, but it looks better than this. What is it? Grown Up or something like that?
Yeah, Grow Up. Yeah. I definitely agree. Fee is better. My bigger problem though is that it's been at least 2 years, maybe 3 years now, Ubisoft showed off the very first games from the UbiArt engine, which, if you remember them, were Child of Light,
and Valiant Hearts, which were amazing.
Valiant Hearts, those games were amazing.
Yes.
Wasn't there the 2D Rayman game? Was it?
Yeah, it was in the Rayman game.
That's in the same game engine as well.
Yep, it was the same game.
Those are fantastic games.
Yeah, but what happened to that game engine? Is it just gone?
Well,
they ran out of people to draw things.
That's what I was going to bring up. So when they announced Child of Light and Valiant Hearts, they were like, hey, we have great big studios, and they're going to always make Assassin's Creed for you. But they also like to make, kind of their own stuff. And so this is what we have for you, Child of Light, and then Valiant Hearts. And hey, we're gonna hopefully do more stuff like this in the future. We have seen nothing else from the UbiArt engine. We have seen nothing else from small independent studios outside of of Grow Home, or now Grow Up. I mean, give me Valiant Hearts in World War II. I mean, give me a sequel to like those games were brilliant. Give me something like that. Yeah. Those are the kind of games I want to play. If they were to given us like a 10-minute sizzle reel of just games that are even in development for that engine, that would have completely turned most of my negative view of the conference around. But yeah, there's just no life.
Preach it, brother. Preach it.
Yeah, there was no life, no fun. Like, where was Rayman? Where was like Ubisoft can have fun too. Like, everything was really just kind of blood and guts for the most part. So.
Actually, speaking of having fun, and speaking of blood, the next game they talked about was Trials of the Blood Dragon.
Very nice.
Which is very strange because they took Trials and they took that kind of Far Cry offshoot Blood Dragon and kind of mashed them together.
Yeah,
it's like
that's
Trials
exactly
set
what they
in
did.
the Blood Dragon universe,
Yeah.
and it's available now. So if you really want it, go play it.
Yeah,
I guess.
it's $14.99. So it's a standalone experience. Did either of you guys play Blood Dragon?
Yes. Yeah, I completed that.
Blood Dragon was great.
It was good, and I'm a huge Trials fan as well. Like I had Trials HD, Trials Evolution, and Trials Fusion. I haven't played the last update that they announced last year. Yeah, I haven't played that one, but I've played the rest of Trials.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I love Trials, and Blood Dragon was a blast. It was a ton of fun. So I mean, this is a game I will probably buy. I don't have time or money to buy it right now. I'll probably wait for a sell or something, but I definitely am interested. I mean, it looked super zany, and so again, for fans of that series, it's out there. It's nice. The presentation of it, though, the two guys in the zebra suits were that was a little too much, though.
Oh boy. Well, to continue on from Trials of the Blood Dragon, they don't have enough games to show, because the next thing they did, which I can't remember if I mentioned this in our prediction show or not, Assassin's Creed the movie is coming out this year. There's no Assassin's Creed game this year, but they had someone come out to talk about the Assassin's Creed movie. And I mean, I think the Assassin's Creed movie is probably going to be pretty good, but I didn't need to hear about it during Ubisoft's conference at all.
This is the second time I fell asleep.
My thing about it, right, is you've got this game with one of the biggest actors around at the moment, Michael Fassbender, and you don't bring him out. You've got You've got this brilliant new director who did Macbeth with Fassbender as well. Is it Jonathan Kurzweil or something like that? And they brought out a pensionable movie producer who people might have known his name, but wouldn't have a clue who he was just by looking at him.
Yeah,
and that guy probably doesn't even know he's working on Assassin's Creed. He was on set.
Yeah. I was gonna say that guy probably didn't even know he's working on Assassin's Creed. He's probably just like, you need to be here at 8 o'clock. All right, I'll go. I almost wish they would have left Assassin's Creed out completely.
Or just show the trailer. Just show a trailer and
something like that would have been something like that would have been fine. I would have liked to have as boring as the conference was, I would have maybe liked to have seen a 2-minute. This is what we're doing with the next Assassin's Creed game. The fact that they're taking a year off actually has me more excited for the series than I've been in a long time.
Yep.
And so even just like the developers being like, hey, we know that it's been stagnant. We have some really cool ideas, maybe a couple of concept images, just, a minute, 30-second, hey, we're still working on this series. More is going to be coming. You guys are going to like it. Something like that would have been... For a gaming audience, would have been more poignant than having a producer talk about a movie. But
sure, I mean, although both of you play Syndicate, because Assassin's Creed Syndicate was amazing. That game was so good.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were actually talking about the game Syndicate.
The game Syndicate.
Assassin's Creed Syndicate is the one I haven't played yet.
Okay.
Because I'm about 2 missions off finishing Unity.
Unity.
It's just I've got so many games to play and play to review that.
Unity definitely had its problems, but man, Syndicate was so good. And I feel like to get on a roll again, so maybe taking this year off, they could, make it
absolutely,
better.
Yeah. No,
we're talking about AC. So where do you want the next game to be?
Well, it's in Egypt, isn't it?
That's right now. That's the rumor. Yeah.
Oh no,
nothing stays secret anymore. Everything is leaked. Everything is leaked. So
yeah.
Egypt.
Look, let's be honest. What everyone wants is Assassin's Creed Japan. That's what everyone wants. It would be awesome.
Yeah,
but
would be awesome.
for whatever reason, they're not doing that. So and let's look. I think them taking a year off to focus on gameplay, focus on getting the game engine exactly right. I think it's a really, really smart move, because it's not like Call of Duty where they have 3 different developers working on that and they each get 3 years to make their game. Assassin's Creed, like, made from one team, isn't it? Although they get help from numerous Ubisoft companies around the world. But either way, having a year off is absolutely the right move.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, to kind of fill that gap with what they kind of originally sold, like a modern-day Assassin's Creed, Watch Dogs.
Yeah.
Watch Dogs, they show Watch Dogs 2 this year.
Which is another one where having seen the trailer, I was stoked, and then in the conference, it's like...
It looked, I don't know what they did, but they made that game look boring. And I'm like, what is going on?
I just for the record, I was asleep during this demo, so...
Did you sleep through the entire conference?
No, I fell asleep during Assassin's Creed, and then I woke up right at the end of this demo.
Okay, so the trailer that was released before E3 for Watch Dogs had some really cool parkour stuff, had some really interesting hacking stuff, and none of that was shown in the trailer. Instead, we got him flying a drone around, a little bit of stealth kills, and that's about it. And the thing that was really missing for me from the first Watch Dogs game was it was sold as kind of like an Assassin's Creed in kind of present day stroke future kind of thing. And I wanted there to be parkour in that game, and there just wasn't. I wanted the hacking to be a bit more advanced than kind of like stick these posts up, lift that bridge up, whatever. It looks like they're correcting that in this game, but the presentation they showed at the conference was just disappointing.
Right.
Yeah. I will say that I'm super pumped for the game. I honestly didn't watch the demo, but I saw the trailer and a lot of the reveal stuff, a couple days before. It looks.
So that's why you fell asleep. You want to go in blind when the game comes out. Right?
That's
the reason you fell
asleep. That was my plan.
I'm also glad we got a new protagonist as well, because the one in the last game, I can't remember his name. Aiden Pierce. Yeah, that was it. He was just a bit dull. He was just a bit boring. Where this guy, I like the fact that he's a younger guy, that he's kind of a bit more street. I think that's cool. I think it can add an edge to it. Yeah, it just seems a lot more interesting game. And Assassin's Creed 2 was so much better than Assassin's Creed 1, and I hope this is exactly the same way.
Yep. This is the drum that I've been beating the whole time. It's like they had ideas.
Is that what that noise was? I thought
that was my drum. Yeah. Assassin's Creed 1 had great ideas, and it just way overshadowed what the game could actually produce. And then Assassin's Creed 2 came out and was one of my favorite games on the Xbox 360. I fully expect them to be able to do something like that with Watch Dogs, and I hope they do. I'm really pumped to play it. Looking forward to it. I'll say this before we transition to the next game. So having watched all the press conferences now, one of the things that I really appreciate about
wait, not all of them. Nintendo still has to happen.
Like I said,
that's
a 90-minute trailer of Zelda. So like I said, having watched
it's still going to be better than the Ubisoft conference.
That's true. Having watched all the press conferences, though, for me, I really appreciate what Microsoft does in the way that they know how to highlight a game, and they don't spend too much time on it. I know on paper it sounds like, oh, let's show a live demo of our game to the audience. That will really sell them on the game. But after watching Sony specifically and then in Ubisoft, both of them spent way too much time with these long, extended playthroughs. And there's just, for me, it's just boring. I want to play the game. So I'd rather see kind of a cinematic, not even a cinematic, an in-game kind of sizzle reel of this is what the game's like, this is when you can play it, and then let me play it. These 10 8-10 minute videos watching a guy walk in slow motion, and it just is not for me. So
sure. So I mean, what you're saying is you love excitement and you love thrills. Well, with that, you're going to love the last game that Ubisoft showed, a brand new IP called Steep. And this is going to be an action sports open world game. Pretty much the trailer they showed, they had to say it's all in-game footage, but you're snowboarding, paragliding, you have a wingsuit, you're skiing, it's like a first-person action sports game. Did you guys have it? When I first saw it, I'm like, this has to be VR. Has to be VR. They never said VR.
No, it doesn't need to be VR. It doesn't need to be VR. It just needs to be a kick-ass SSX game. Really.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
It's like we have not had a decent snowboarding skiing game in years. It's like there was 1080 snowboarding on the N64 and SSX, and those were brilliant games. And since then, like the SSX reboot was okay, but it wasn't great. There was the was it Shaun White snowboarding, something like that, some young Canadian geezer. That game was massively disappointing. This game looks like it could be really good. I like the idea of parachuting as well as skiing. I like the fact it's actually set in kind of a real world. It's actually set in the Alps with Mont Blanc and the Matterhorn. It looks like it could be good. It's just, let's see how it goes. And it looks like that kind of weird kind of online multiplayer thing where you've got other people in the world that you're playing in. So yeah, I signed up for the beta. It'll be interesting to see what it's like.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I mean, it looked good. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that it's a game that that has much longevity, I guess, is my concern. If it can capture the fun of 1080, something like that, or even SSX, like maybe, but it looked from the trailer, it looked a little more serious, a little more.
Oh, I think it is. I think it is a kind of serious kind of sim kind of game. But just the fact that you are doing crazy things like wingsuiting down the side of a mountain is kind of cool. It did make me wonder where on earth the Criterion Extreme Sports game was, though, in the EA press conference.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, and it looks like if they keep taking their time, it looks like they're going to get overshadowed pretty quick. Because we had a couple of even like Ghost Recon has flight suits, in that game, the wingsuits, and now you have Steep, and so again, these ideas somehow kind of leak and catch on within the industry, and then you start seeing games, following these kind of extreme sports, and so Criterion may actually get left in the dust if they don't announce something soon. But yeah, I mean, it's all right. I mean, see, it looks great. I don't know. I don't think they showed me enough to really convince me that it's a game that I will want to play. I'm normally driven by kind of a story. So if the story is, hey, get up to the mountain and then get back down again each time, I don't know how long that's going to keep me, but it looked fantastic. So
it looks a bit like a racing game, so I'm down.
Yeah, of course.
Sure. Cool. Well, guys, Ubisoft started with a party and ended on a mountain, and everything else in between was that low valley, right?
Very nice. Very nice.
But so what do you guys think? Big thumbs down on this one?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think the content's good, but the show was just awful. Like, I'm still pumped for Wildlands. I'm still pumped for Watch Dogs 2. They released two trailers. They released a trailer for both of those games right before E3, and I was more excited having watched those trailers than watching the stuff on stage. So, like, ultimately, the show almost hurts them, and that's the sad part. The content was good, the games are good, but the show was not good at all. So
sure. Okay, Steve, any final thoughts on this amazing conference?
I think Aisha Taylor was about the only decent thing about it, and the rest, I'm excited to play some of those games, but it's more kind of in spite of the conference that I'm excited to play those games rather than because of it.
Cool. Okay. Well, I think we all agree that while we will probably like some of the games coming out, the overall presentation was just bad. Yeah. This has to be the weakest conference of the year.
Yeah.
With that, guys, make sure to check out our other conference reviews for EA, Bethesda, Microsoft. We have all those on our YouTube page. Make sure to go and check those out if you want a little brighter side of E3. But as for the rest of the content, all our news stories, reviews, things like that, check out xboxenthusiast.com. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter at Enthusiast Xbox. We're also on iTunes, the Google Play Store, Microsoft MP3 Store, SoundCloud. We're pretty much everywhere. Go on, find us there. But Also, check out our YouTube page for more awesome content coming out on our page. Also, a video dedicated just to the Xbox Scorpio announcement. So make sure to check that out. But until next time, guys, we are out.
Bye.